Hello and welcome to Relaxing Sounds with Dr. Matt. In 2020, I uploaded an ASMR video that I pretended was found on a VHS tape from 1995, but it was actually a roleplay that I recorded a day or two earlier before putting some filters on the video and audio to make it seem like it came from an old tape. Since then, it's become one of my most popular videos, and I thought some of you might enjoy the full quality recording without any filters to make it look or sound old. So, without further ado, here's the unfiltered version of Relaxing Sounds with Dr. Matt in 4K. Hello and welcome to Relaxing Sounds with Dr. Matt. I am Dr. Matt, and I'd like to begin by thanking you for your purchase of this VHS video tape. I will admit that upon submitting the advertisement for this program to my local newspaper, I was a little bit apprehensive, for you see, I was unsure that anyone would take an interest in the program. But I suppose if you are indeed watching this, that you did place a mail order for it and have received it and are now watching it in an act of disproving my apprehensive assumption that no one would watch it. So for that I would once again like to thank you. So what I am going to be doing today is making some gentle, relaxing sounds using a variety of household objects you may or may not have within your home. But before I begin, I would like to give a little bit of context as to why I will be doing what I am about to do. For you see, I'm worried that if I simply jump right into it, that you may be unnecessarily confused or perhaps even bewildered at what I'm doing and why. So, to give some backstory, I'd say a few weeks prior to this recording, I was idly tapping my fingers, sort of drumming rhythmically, absent-mindedly on a desk as I did some work. And I thought to myself, well, gosh, you know what, that actually sounds somewhat soothing. And so what I did is I took my audio recorder, as I have set up here, and I recorded a few minutes of that very tapping sound, like just a little bit of gentle tapping. And I found it to be quite soothing. However, I did not know exactly what I would be doing with the audio recording, and I simply put it in a desk drawer for the time being until, I'd say maybe a week later, I was having a particularly bad bout of insomnia. I was stuck wide awake in bed. It was, I'd say, 10:15 p.m., and I was feeling absolutely dreadful. I was fearing that I'd not get a good night's sleep, and so, as a last-ditch effort of sorts, I took the audio recording of me drumming on the table with my fingers and played it back while I lied in bed, and lo and behold, my insomnia was cured within minutes. It was quite a miracle, really. And so, inspired by that successful experiment, I recorded some other sound effects, and I found them soothing to listen to as well, and used them for sleep on more than one occasion. To ensure that it wasn't simply all in my head, I then spoke with my family and played back the sounds for them to see what they thought. Well, my wife, perhaps predictably, did not understand what the fuss was all about, though she unfortunately does not always seem to be on the same page as me in terms of my experiments, but that is a discussion for another time, I suppose. However, my children, both my son and my daughter, found the sounds to be quite entrancing. And so I thought to myself, well, you know what, perhaps I'm on to something. And for one more test of my hypothesis, I played back the sounds for my brother-in-law. He and I get along quite well, you see, and what was interesting is not only did he find the sounds relaxing, but he, what was it? He described a sort of sensation seemingly triggered by them. And that sensation, if I recall correctly, was, in his words, a sort of tickling sensation along his scalp, if you will. He rather described it as a sort of waterfall of relaxation just cascading down his scalp and his neck. And I found that rather fascinating. I personally cannot quite relate, as I have not experienced that sensation, but I did find it worth noting for future testing, if you will. And so, what I'm going to share with you today is a variety of the sound effects or audio samples that I have found most soothing personally. And you may be wondering why I've decided to do this in a visual format instead of simply audio. After all, a simple cassette tape or maybe even compact disc would be simpler to produce and perhaps cheaper as well. And to answer that question, I simply will say that my instinct, my gut feeling, if you will, is that these audio effects, this soothing nature of these sounds, can perhaps be amplified by watching them performed in front of your very eyes. And so for that reason I have decided to go with a VHS videotape for this program. Anyhow, with that introduction out of the way, I suppose now would be a good time to start making the sounds. So let us begin. Alright, so the first sound, or perhaps I should say collection of sounds, comes from a device I have here currently in my lap, and that is this, which, if you are not familiar with it, is a Nintendo Entertainment System video game controller. Says here model number NES 004. And for some further context on the reasoning behind choosing this object, I would say that my son, from time to time, enjoys a round or two of Super Mario Brothers, and is that what it's called? Super Mario Brothers? I think so, but I apologize if that is a mistaken assumption. But anyhow, I noticed one day that the sounds of the controller were quite soothing to me. So, perhaps they will be soothing to you as well. Here we go. Alright, so that was the Nintendo Entertainment System video game controller. Next, I have a VHS videotape in its original casing, perhaps more of an elaborate case than the one that this videotape came in, but a case nonetheless. and this is for the Microsoft Windows 95 video guide. Easy instruction to the top 25 features with Jennifer Aniston and Matthew Perry. Now, I will admit that I do not yet have a personal computer that utilizes Microsoft Windows 95, but given the supposed popularity and economic success of this Microsoft Windows 95 product, I figured that it might be a good idea to, well, get ahead of the curve, if you will, and learn a little bit about it before I even try using it. And so I found that tapping gently on this case was somewhat relaxing. So let's do that right now. It says here on the back that this program is the world's first cyber sitcom. I wonder if that's going to be a bustling new genre. And that was the Windows 95 Video Guide VHS videotape plastic case. I do hope that you found that sound relaxing. Next, I have another object that you might find my son or daughter enjoying from time to time, and that is this water bottle shaped like a dinosaur. I do not know the name of this character, but if I do recall from our trip to the movie theater, this was in the movie, what was it? It was Tale of the Toys. No, that wasn't it. It was... well, it's not important, is it? But I do remember this rather nervous dinosaur, and in a few ways I did kind of relate to them. My children wanted toys from this movie, and well, I do understand their childlike. Well, childlike is not the correct word because they are actual children, but put simply, I understand their desire for toys, but I believe that toys should, if possible, have other uses so that children learn how to adapt the things that they have available to them to a variety of situations. And so I purchased this water bottle for them that is also sort of like a toy. And while I do not see them playing with it much, they do enjoy drinking from it. So, as long as they are healthy and hydrated, I am quite pleased with the utility of this object. This object, I noticed, has a bit of a textured plastic on it, and when you run your fingers or fingernails along it, it makes a sort of relaxing, scratching type of sound. And so that is what I'm going to be doing. Here we go. Right then. So that was the dinosaur-shaped water bottle. Next, I have a book. And this book is named The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, written by Douglas Adams. This is quite an entertaining novel, if you ask me. It is about some very zany adventures in outer space. Lots of imaginative sci-fi or science fiction, if you will, characters and scenarios, as well as a bit of irreverent humor. But I found that the sound of the pages flipping was quite relaxing to me. So let us do that now. That was the pages flipping in the book. Alright, so for this presentation I have one more object remaining, and that is this rather adorable stuffed animal. I found that the sound of fabric and soft things can be quite soothing, and I thought, what better way to showcase it than with one of my daughter's favorite playthings, this adorable plush bear. I must admit, though, I do not understand why this bear is wearing a shirt that seems to reference fecal matter, though the spelling is a bit odd, and well, I would normally not endorse such a thing in one of my children's playthings. They seem to love it so much that I could not say no. So let me go ahead now and make some sound effects with this toy. Alright. Well, I believe that brings us to the conclusion of this presentation of relaxing sounds with Dr. Matt. I do hope that you found some or perhaps all of these sounds relaxing. And if you did, please feel free to send me a postcard to the address that you submitted your mail order to. And if I do decide to produce any future presentations of relaxing sounds with Dr. Matt, I will most assuredly take your feedback into serious consideration. So thank you once again for your purchase and viewing of Relaxing Sounds with Dr. Matt. Have a good day or evening or night's rest, whatever it is that you're about to, I do hope, enjoy. Goodbye.